We're hanging in there, making plans. Right now it looks we've as far as the students, we've closed until the 1st, but the governor has everybody wait until the 6th, and some of the local municipalities are saying the 13th and 14th.
Wow.
I literally spent the whole day today talking to everybody.
Yeah.
So
How is Ed Stoll doing? I read his message. I just met Ed last year, and I really like him. We had a good time getting to know each other.
yep, great guy. He seems to be
Cool.
doing good. He's following the same structure that a lot of people are, the online videos, either a website, and a lot of guys are setting up the Facebook pages and putting them in there. Talked to LaVon Martin about 4 days ago about doing that. So she's getting set up to do that, just to offer some sort of service, the students, and keep everybody engaged. But
She's
he seems
in the
good.
Zoom crash course right now.
Yeah.
This is actually a good time for us because we have planned to build a online university for all of our self-defense and Krav Maga stuff here in the school. And so now we have days to get it done. And now we're shooting tons of videos. So we're like, might as well go ahead and shoot those videos too.
Yep. All schools should have videos for their students. They just should. It's a good way to go. Greg Nelson has a huge library for his academy.
Really?
And it's for his students.
Is it web-based? Is it an online website?
No, it's private. It's not what we have. It's not the same kind of platform.
Bing bong! What's up, guys?
What's going on,
Coach?
How are you guys?
Nice glasses. I like it.
Thank you. Are you guys having are you guys going stir crazy?
No. I'm not going stir crazy. I have 2 brand new puppies, so I'm going. I can't get no sleep crazy.
That sucks. So you have to remain quiet. You can't. You got so much noise around you. That's tough. You got to put some earplugs in.
Yeah, I'm used to a chaotic household. If I gotta get quiet, I'll just go to Kat's house. Not her air conditioner. Her air conditioner is fixed. We can go over there.
Is it hot there?
No, we had one warm day last week, so my air conditioner tried to turn on and it exploded. So, yay, new AC unit.
Wow.
It was 17 years old, though. That's a very long-lasting AC unit.
It sure is. With no maintenance?
No, well, we don't know.
Oh.
I'm about to ruin that for you. Ours is 32 years old, and it hasn't been replaced. We fixed it twice, but
Bob isn't allowed to use it ever, so it just sits there. Wonders why it lasted so long.
I think this is the year we have to replace it.
Oh God, no! That's what happens when you talk about something.
Hey, Bob, something's wrong.
What's the matter?
You don't have a CSW shirt on.
I know.
Dogfather.
You want to know why? Rashad was like, "Hey, Dogfather shirt." You want to know why? Every other shirt I have is in the laundry right now. I've gone through all. Hey,
this is Tanya.
I don't have a CSW shirt on
Tanya.
today either. Hey guys.
this is like the only non-CSW shirt that I wear.
Me too.
You know what's funny, Tanya? You just scared me when you walked into the frame. I thought you were behind me. That's how long I've been sitting here typing. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
I'm everywhere.
Okay, God. Hey, so how's the panic? Is it panic stricken, or what's going on where you guys are down there?
Well, we have quite a few corona cases here in the Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg area, but it's turned into a ghost town. Our governor closed everything, non-essential businesses, for 30 days, and that was after we had already been closed for a week. So, yay!
Yeah, Pat called me last night. They're closed they just got their thing to close for another 30 days. So
30 days.
Yeah.
Speculatively, I don't know if that's. You got to have. You know what? Week to week. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Did Who told him that? Did his local government tell him he had to go for 30 more days?
Yeah, the government, the governor.
Really?
Yeah, the governor said yesterday. So Pat messaged me last night that we have to reschedule the seminar, and they're trying to get it in as early as May. So I actually was trying to work with dates on them to get everything sorted out and then I called the airlines, and the airline said to us that we can reschedule it, but if and there won't be a change fee, but if the ticket is more expensive, they'll charge additionally for the ticket. So I'm like, that doesn't help.
All the tickets will probably be going up.
Like $1,000 more.
But you know what? They need to work with people too, because they need to know that so many people have been missing flights and stuff. So what are you going to do? Suddenly you're gonna rape everybody as soon as they go back on the airline. You're like, oh, sorry, everything's $1,000 more because of the layoff.
And they said, oh, there won't be a
You've got to
change
know
fee.
that people can't afford that right now.
I wonder if they realize that we're not going to forget that they mistreated us.
Yeah.
Right? Like when this is all over, I'm going to be like, oh, you guys were great. You treated me horribly.
Yeah.
Yes, I really want to continue doing business with you.
Have you had bad service with an airline?
I don't fly a lot. So the years that I was a cop, I worked so much that I didn't go anywhere. And then since we've been having babies, like we're just to the point now where we can travel with the babies. So we're traveling with all those babies. That's
Not you two. Let's clarify, not you two. But
no. Oh yeah.
That's like, no.
You guys are.
We all know how you guys feel about that.
I used to tell people I didn't want kids either. My daughter absolutely loves her. She comes in, she's like, "Hi, cat, hi," and this follows her around. So
how old is she?
Kids here, 3. The middle child, she's 3.
You have 4 children.
No,
right?
not
3.
Not
Oh God.
Cat.
Oh,
No,
3. Okay.
3 children, 2 puppies. I think we're done with kids. I think my wife's done with babies.
All right, good idea.
So how have your students been reacting? Are they fairly happy to stick with you through all this stuff? And
yeah, for the most part, they seem to be. We have a lot of military and people that work for NASA around here. So thankfully, at least their jobs are fairly insulated. So they haven't had a huge issue that they're at least letting us know about yet.
Okay.
So I'm definitely grateful about that. But we've got pretty good interaction with people through Facebook and that type of thing, trying to push out videos and workouts and stuff like that, and access to everything with CSW, which has been great. So
now, are they utilizing the 30 days from us? Have you guys input that yet for them?
Yeah, I have 2 more people that I have to get fixed. They didn't give me the right email addresses. We got about 17 students who signed. We required our students, instead of just blanketing Bob with all of our students, we'd say, hey, if you respond to this, you guys can get it. If you don't respond, then we're not going to send 100 and some names, 117 names to Bob and be like, hey, just throw these guys. So if they responded, we got it for them.
Yeah,
okay, that's good.
It's up to people if that's what they want.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants it.
Yeah.
I set up about 200 today.
Smokes.
Yeah.
Bob has to give his fingers mini ice baths. Just
carpal tunnel.
Overwork.
Everybody's on deck. Tanya's messaging everybody 24/7. Alan was talking for 8 hours with everybody earlier, and we're all. Eric's filming constant videos to put out, so everybody's on deck trying to get through it.
Yeah.
Well, also occupy a little bit, just because, not that there's not enough already, but no, you know how people are. They'll watch a video and they go, "What else you got?"
Yeah.
And I get that a lot. What else you got? And I'm like, why don't you watch the last video? Just watch that in slow motion, or watch it 5 times in a row and take some notes.
Yeah, if you're good at everything,
so I must be a master at it. I just saw it once. I'm a master.
Well, I got my black belt on YouTube.
If you're good at all the stuff in that online university, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I've had it for 5-6 years, and I still can't get through everything. I find myself watching a video and going, have I? And then it'll pop up that I've watched it before, and I'm like, yeah, I need to watch this again because I think I taught that wrong last night.
That is the significance of videos that stay there, that don't dissolve after you watch them once.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not like Mission Impossible. They give you your mission statement, and then the tape recorder
Explodes.
tape burns up. Alan, what was your? You talked to a lot of people. What have you heard?
Sounds like the majority of them are either by choice or by decision going to be waiting till about the 13th or 14th of April. Small handful of guys are going to take all of April off. Like Coach Pat, LeBon's thinking about doing that. So a couple of other guys.
I think the older you are, the happier you are with this time off. You know, you get a young, hyperactive person, and then you go, you got to stay indoors till the end of next month. You know, guys are going crazy. Not me.
No, me
Tons
neither.
of stuff to do.
Like chain him in the house.
My garage alone will take at least 2 months just to clean out.
Now's the time to do it.
I didn't
Did you
say,
say that?
I was going to do it.
Oh.
Get a new roof.
Hey, Tanya,
Paint the house.
ask Kat about her basement. Ask her about the basement.
Oh, this is good.
Oh, no, what?
Yeah, what are you doing? Are you finishing off the basement? What are you doing?
What's wrong with your basement?
It's fine. I just need to repaint it. Same thing. Household stuff to get done.
It is
So,
horrendously ugly
it
and
is.
dirty, but it's got her gym in it. It's a great basement. And each time we're like, hey, we're gonna go paint the basement. She's like,
Yeah, you know what you do? You just keep it ugly, and then you make it uglier. I mean, that's a gym, right? It's your own personal.
Our first gym.
Great.
Fluorescent.
So,
Wait, what? I can't hear you. What?
Hey, do you guys
Fluorescent
have?
pink.
No, don't do it pink.
thank you.
You won't. You want to sleep. You won't even want to go
No pink.
go work
No.
out.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
No,
No.
come on. Vetoed. Veto.
Hey, can you guys turn your volume up a little bit?
Yeah, turn your volume on your computer, maybe.
Yeah, something with the microphone's a little low.
It might be the fact that we're sitting so far back trying to give each other
No,
room.
that's better.
That's better.
Yeah,
Much
that's better.
Yeah. So,
I just want to say congratulations to Ellen's watch sponsor. Exactly 321.
321 there. No, 327, right?
I'm sure that's a diving watch, right, Alan? It's rated probably super low.
Yes, sir.
What is
Every
that?
time you post the diving stuff, I'm like so jealous. I haven't dove in years, and I'm like, I just want to go down there and dive.
Hey, man, I got a guy.
You got somebody to watch 3 kids for me? I need a baby.
Bring them with, man. They can stay on the boat, play, swim in the water.
You don't want my kids on your boat.
John,
You do not want my kids on your boat. They'll sink your boat, brother.
Hey, sounds like an adventure to me.
No more skydiving. No more deep sea dive. You got 3 kids.
No, you got 3 kids, 2 puppies, and a wife to think about.
Yeah.
And cat.
Yeah. You guys.
I cannot. I haven't jumped out of a plane in years. I haven't dove in years. When my son gets old enough, I'm gonna be like, "Come on, boy, let's go. Let's go jump out of planes. Let's go do crazy things."
Awesome.
I got 10 years, and he'll be ready to do everything with me.
Yeah.
And I'll get my daughter and then my other son. When they get old enough, get them ready. I've already told her we need to get school to a point where I can leave for a year, so we could drive around the country for a year, just me and the
That's
kids
cool.
and the wife.
You know, it's amazing is when they're little, you wish that you could have more interaction with them, not just play with them, but conversations. And then the first time that you can actually have a conversation with your
They don't want to talk to you.
child, no. And then they actually respond. You can have an intellectual conversation. That's the most amazing time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You mean when they're 25?
Harrison Bryson was having
32.
full-blown conversations when he was like 7 or 8, and like completely thought out
Wow.
conversations.
No, Ben's son.
Oh, yeah.
Lincoln. When he was so small, he was reasoning with you. I mean, he was having full-blown rational arguments with you, and he was like 2 years old.
But granted, it was about gummies.
Oh.
Listen,
We were out of gummies.
there has to be a motive.
Well, my daughter told me yesterday, "Shut up, Daddy. What's wrong with you?" And she's 3, so
It's about right.
At least you got
I
your
was
name
like, I feel like I have this strange effect on women or something.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard
What
shut
about
up a
when
few
you came
times.
to the coaches course in Atlanta, Rashad, and the next thing you know, remember he was sick as a dog. He had food poisoning.
And we
Oh,
think
yeah.
that the waitress poisoned me because she was mad at me that night because she was looking at me the whole time like, "You're a jerk," and I'm like, "I'm not trying to be a jerk. We're trying to discuss something." And then sure enough, I got sick. And I was like,
gosh.
I've never had food poisoning like that before. I've had food poisoning last about a night and then I'm good. My stomach puts it right out.
You were
But
so
even when we were
sick.
driving home, she had to drive us home.
I remember.
Oh,
How
wow.
about how do you think she could give you botulism? That's what she had. No, I mean, what did she do? Hey, let's throw a piece of this old meat from the back in on that one.
Maybe she wiped on
What is
it.
it?
Visine. Visine.
Yeah, it was Visine. Oh yeah, the one
Is
who
that
killed
so
her
much
husband with
better than what
Visine.
I was thinking?
Yeah, there's a woman who killed her husband with Visine.
Really?
Killed him?
She was trying to make him sick and actually accidentally killed him. She was giving him little bits of Visine. Oh, if I find the article, I'll shoot the article to you.
What?
Because I was like, oh my God, I don't want my wife to read this.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah,
Me
you
neither.
cannot ingest large amounts of Visine. It will kill you.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Also nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
How
Yeah.
do you know?
Look up nutmeg.
Aren't you supposed to eat nutmeg?
A little bit, but not a lot.
Oh, okay.
It
You
hurt
learn
me.
all kinds of things on the CSW podcast.
Yeah.
Alan, what is so are they gonna make you shut down for longer or not, or what have you heard anything?
Right now, they have us on hold until the 6th.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Now, did that change though? Because we were thinking it was gonna be on the 1st.
Yeah, it changed from the 1st to the 6th, and between now and then, the governor's getting a lot of heat to extend it even now. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
Yeah.
so here's the deal. If they let us back too early, it's just going to get worse.
That would be terrible.
They said that it's sent us back 22 years in time. I don't know how they came up with that. Did you see that?
I saw that too. It
They were
was
saying that on
21
the
years.
news, 22, 21, 22 years.
How do they mean? In what way?
We lost all the economic gains.
Like
We
the
lost all
Financially.
2009.
financially,
We
it's
lost
market.
all the economic gains.
So the
that
market.
the market made and businesses made. Unemployment is dropped right back to where it was in 2008, a little bit right there when the market fell in 2008. So we're losing quickly.
yeah.
Well, the drop the other day was the worst since 29. Like, it was depression drop.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
But
But
yesterday-
yesterday it bounced again.
Yeah, my brother invested $1,000 for my nephew. My brother just has authority over his account, and he invested $1,000 into the stock market, and he made him $2,000 like that as of yesterday, just right off the bat. So that was a good thing. But Alan, you play with the stock market, right?
Yes.
So how's it going?
Going just as planned. I'm kind of a long haul type
me
of
too.
person. Yeah, I'm looking long run.
We don't do the day-to-day things.
And I
Just leave it
generally have everything set up very aggressive. So, I mean, obviously you're seeing it, but there'll be another side to it as well.
Like a mutual fund. It's like a
When they
mutual
open the doors, can you imagine what your gym's going to look like the day that you open the doors up and all those people who've been stir crazy coming there? You're going to have every coach and every class.
I'm planning on having a big party too.
Yeah, we're
So
gonna
we're
start-
gonna like,
That's actually a really good idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the guys
Barbecue.
in our group just said, hey, can we have a big like barbecue and taco stand and like have everybody like in there training at the same time, just as a welcome committee like return. So
I like that.
we're definitely gonna
Bob's
do
going to
that.
have a huge barbecue at his house with all of his minions.
What are the
Yeah.
names?
Yeah, my 6 guys.
Elite football. We're gonna have a barbecue for the elites.
Yeah, I'm in that weird category of people who this thing has made me more busy, not less busy.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, I've definitely been busy over the last 2 weeks.
Bob, we appreciate all that you're
Yeah,
doing.
thank you, Bob.
oh no, I'm not fishing. No, I'm just saying it's
You're helping, but you're helping in this time of boredom and crisis. It's given people a chance to, look at some things they probably never would see.
yeah, it is a good time to do your homework. Yeah,
Like
get your curriculum right.
I think also because you get students and you're always like, oh, Sensei Polson taught us this, Sensei Polson, or I learned this from Bob, and people will look at you and be like, who is he talking about? But now with the access, I can be like, just watch, just watch. Don't. I think a lot of times especially we have a weird dynamic. We're really insulated from economic downturns because we're all military. 95% of my students are military, and the other 5% are government workers.
Thank you.
But they're not here for very long. They get here, they're here for a year, 2 years, and then they're gone.
That's like Ryan's run.
Yeah.
Ryan has the same thing, college kids.
So we always get this question of, where do we go after this, coach, when I have to leave? And I'm like, go find a CSW school. And they're like, I was like, that guy, Sensei Polson, that I keep telling you about, he runs combat submission wrestling. That's where we're getting our stuff from. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, ugh.
Came from the ether. Right?
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is that's why when we have our international or our annual camp, I try to bring in as many different people as I can to learn from all of them. It was actually intended for me to learn from everybody, not for me to expose at first to everybody. And then later on they go, hey, you should make a camp out of this. What about taking your teachers and then exposing them to all the people around you? And that's how that started back in 1998 or 99.
Oh, they go that far back, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because we were just having like little groups. I would do seminars, and I remember everyone wanted to have amateur Shudo matches at their school.
Yeah.
And then I was told that I wasn't allowed to promote in Shudo before I retired, and that it wasn't really Shudo that they were doing. And then I was like, well, how is this supposed to grow if we're not allowed to do anything? He goes, they can all come to LA. And I go, I don't think everyone could come to LA, to learn from Sensei Nakamura. And so at the time, it was in 1988, 89, 90, we started having the amateur Shudo matches at the Inasano Academy until because I had to ref, I had to judge, I had to do weigh-ins, the whole thing in the end. And what happened, it was great. It was cool. I had to do matchmaking. And then in the end, someone got hurt. But we actually had two guys really get hurt. We had one guy, he got he got heel hooked and he just ripped his knee. And I remember Sensei Nakamura gave him some, I don't know how he took care of him, but I think he gave him a lifetime membership and all this stuff to the Shudo Association. And at that time, but and it was amateur fighting. So he got his heel ripped. And then the worst was towards the end, I had a new generation of fighters from Orange County to fight some of the guys from LA and anyone from around that wanted to fight. And this guy shot a double leg and he did a double with a leg hook trip.
Oh, okay.
Outside leg hook. And the guy stepped back and his leg broke in half.
Oh my God.
And the ambulance came, and then that was it. Simo Paula said, Eric, I don't want these here anymore. It's not good because, we're a huge liability, and, we're going to get sued and we're going to lose our school because you're having these matches. And that's how amateur Shudo disappeared. And then all these King of the Cage, Gladiator Challenge, and all these other events came about. One thing I'm really amazed about is the fact with Pat, I went to a fight in Virginia an MMA fight, and your guys allow your amateur fighters to elbow, and I mean, it's a pro fight.
That's actually a complaint here. Some of the coaches complain. They're like,
I don't think.
If my fighters are fighting pro rules as an amateur, then what protects them? And secondly, why would anyone want to go see a pro fight where they have to pay? Why would they do pro fights where you have to pay the pro because they don't have to pay the amateurs? But the people here, the guys who run a lot of the fights here, they go right around the coaches. They call the fighters up themselves.
Oh,
and ask
wow.
the fighters, they'll go right around the coaches.
Wow.
Because the coaches will be like, no, this person's not ready, and they'll go right to the fighter. I actually had a fighter here, and I told her, you're not ready. Do not get into that fight ring. And a couple weeks later, she's like, such and such sent me a message and wants to know if I can fight. And I'm like, no, you're going to get hurt.
Kat, did you fight or no? Oh, it wasn't you.
It was not me.
Oh, wow. So it's amazing. I sat there and I was like, this is amazing. These fights are like full-blown professional. I go, these guys are amateur? And Pat was going, yeah, these are all amateur. And I was like, well, what constitutes the difference between amateur and pro? You get paid.
Yeah, the money.
I don't know.
Have to pay if they call it amateur.
It's the same
maybe.
rules.
It shouldn't be.
The fans don't know the difference. So why even mess with professionals when the fans will pay to see an amateur fight? They'll pay to see a bunch of amateurs fight, and they'll pay to see a bunch of people who don't have any knowledge of the sport fight. They pay good money for it.
Well, that's called the tough man contest.
Yeah,
I remember those.
Pretty much. You see people gas out in the first round. Their conditioning's not good. They fall apart in the first round.
I was at a fight here, King of the Cage, and I watched this guy who's smoking a cigarette, just smoking away, and he takes his shirt off. He's got swastikas all over his body.
Oh, gross.
Oh my gosh.
And he's smoking. He throws a cigarette down, stomps it, and then jumps in the cage and fights. And then after his fight, he lit up a cigarette and was smoking again. I was like, wow. You know, like, I would think that training hard and fighting would make you want to quit smoking, not, make you want to
maybe
do it
like
more.
into tattoo removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just a suggestion.
Those are generally frowned upon.
Yeah.
Self-expression. You should allow people to express themselves.
Well, all
right.
I would rather them just tell me up front that they don't like me than to try to spend a couple months getting to know, hey, you want to tattoo a swastika or something hateful on your body, to just say, Rashad, stay away from me. I'll stay away from you.
Just like the waitress in the Visine.
Yeah.
Oh, nice callback.
So I had this kid come to me. This Orange County kid, and he came to me and he said, hey, I'd really be interested to fight under you. Would you train me to fight?
This.
And he had short, buzz cut, short blonde hair. And I said, what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm motocross. I'm a motocross guy, BMX. I go, oh, okay, you're probably tough. Cool. All right. So anyways, he kind of had an edge to him, and he always came in wearing a white T-shirt, and I said, hey, you want a school shirt? He goes, no, I don't mind wearing this. And I'm like, okay. So I trained this kid for a year. I told him, I said, I got to train you for almost 8 months. So come game day, I think Ben was there.
Never seen him without a shirt.
Val Lady was there, and all of a sudden I go, all right, let's go. We wrap his hands, everything. He takes his shirt off, and holy moly, his whole body had swastikas everywhere.
Nice.
He had been in prison, we found out.
Well, so that edginess that he had came from being in jail. And I said, I asked him after the fight, I go, hey, I never asked you this because I didn't really care, but what were you in jail for? And he goes, oh, hate crimes. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I belong to this white supremacist group. And we were doing, after 9/11, we had to protect our territory. And I was like, oh boy.
Oh no.
He got yelled at. That was it.
We never saw him again.
After that, he was done.
Somebody tell Cape Fear to go home.
Oh my God.
I had no idea. So, yeah, you
That
can't.
was so horrifying that Rashad just froze.
His face is frozen.
What
You guys,
happened?
you guys move.
Oh my God.
Oh,
They
no.
love-
Oh man!
Was it something I said?
Was it something we said?
Yes.
Come back, guys. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And they cut out.
Yeah, they were buffering a little bit. You could see the connection was getting bad there. They'll be back. That's funny.
That's true. I had no idea. I trained this kid for all that time. Had no idea.
Maybe
Was his name Max Cady?
I had no idea.
Maybe.
You know,
Just
I mean, that was even before the fight practice.
Suggestion.
That was before the fight
Suggestion.
practice. Even
How do you-
Topic.
How do you vet them now when they come in? Do you change anything after that?
Take your shirt off.
Yeah. Well, you
Get
got
naked.
first of all, they have to come in off recommendation, and then Ben has to look at them and okay them, and then also he has to tell them that they have to be there 5 days a week. A lot of the guys that say they want to fight, they can't put 5 days a week in.
Hmm.
You know, 5 days a week. I mean, if you listen, we're not trying to train people to go to all the local events and win in local events. We're trying to get people
In the
to
UFC.
Bellator, to
Bellator.
UFC, to all the big events. And if you can't dedicate your time and your life for that, then you got to go to another gym. You know, there's plenty of UFC gyms that around where people are training that might want to, you know, take you under. But, you know, if you're content fighting for these little rinky-dink fights, you know, not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying if you're not aspiring. And welcome back, guys.
There
you
they are.
Welcome back.
Was it something we said?
Our Cape Fear conversation killed your computer.
Your faces were frozen.
He's
like
Like that.
in amazement.
Rashad's like this.
At least you guys could have just watched her. You have something good to look at instead of having to look at my face like.
Come on.
We're like, I think they're gonna come back.
We're like, did they leave on purpose?
Like I said, it was a total.
Change the subject.
accident.
Sweet Lord.
I did not plan. I had no idea. You know?
And change the topic.
You gotta
That's a strong train of thought right there.
You gotta vet.
Sweet
You gotta
Lord,
vet
help us.
people. You have to vet people.
That is what we're
I'm
trying
gonna
to say.
say something. I had a friend
Oh no.
that
Oh no.
that had some guys come to his school, and all they wanted to do is learn Collie.
Oh,
And then later on,
in New York.
it wasn't Collie.
It was in New York.
Tanya. I said we're not talking about where
I
it's
didn't say
at.
who. Oh,
Put in New York though? Okay.
delete.
So listen. So these people came to train Collie, and then they said, "Hey, could you teach us knife stuff?" And you know, you have no idea. You have no idea what people's intentions and motives are for learning what they're learning.
They always get upset with us when they want to learn firearm stuff. I'm like, I'll see you in a year. And they're like, a year? I was like, yeah, I need to get to know you for a year before I teach you how to use a gun. Yeah.
Alan does the same. He does. It's all red gun training, right, Alan?
Yep. Just you're playing with a toy. for the first like 3 levels of the program.
Rashad, how long before they get to put a gun in their hand, a real gun? You run a court?
So the range that I use is a farm that my family owns. So to take you out there on my family property, I gotta know you. And most of the people that we take out there are the police that we know. We got quite a few special operations, Air Force guys, and some special operation Navy guys and stuff. So I know them. And usually when we go out, they've got something to teach me. So I'm like, hey, let's go out. The last time we were up shooting, I just wanted to goof around shooting. And one of our guys is a parajumper with the Air Force. He was like, all right. And he started setting up drills. I'm like, you're going to turn this into training? He was like, what did we come out here for? I was like, I came out here just to shoot a couple shots and work. And he was like, nah, we're going to train. And I was like, oh. So
Of course.
most of the times the guys we take out, we know them well. We're about to start up. We want to use this time off to really get a good cert gun program going. and make sure that this year we use the farm at least once, twice a month. But like I told you, most of the people that I take up there are the cops, special operations dudes, and any civilians. We don't really have very many civilians. So most of the people in my school have background checks and all.
Well, you'd have to, as a civilian, you'd say, hey, you're a civilian. Why do you want to get so good at shooting a gun?
I always ask them, I'm like, hey, look, the amount of lethal force scenarios, things in your life that happen lethal force are so slim, even for the police officers in this area. I was like, if you can't throw a punch, I was like, I like the gunfight thing, because if you can't fight, then you don't need a gun right now. So I'm like, let me see you fight, and then we'll talk to you about using a gun to fight with.
What about psychological training, like getting them prepared to not escalate to, full on force, like de-escalation techniques and stuff like that? Do you work them in that kind of stuff?
Bob,
yes.
Bob,
The mindset
talking
portion.
about men staring at goats? Are you talking about that type of?
I never saw that.
That was a good movie.
That's George Clooney, right? I never saw that.
I know what he's talking about. The men that stare at goats.
I never saw that movie.
They focus on a goat, and the goat just goes beep.
No, that's exactly not what I was talking about.
So we constantly work on use of force. A use of force is in everything that we do. So when we're talking about use of mindset stuff, we don't have a night where we don't cover mindset. Every class is a mindset class, even when we're playing the sport game. Because you'll see a lot of times, and I'll tell students all the time, I was like, get your guard up. Sometimes you're going to take an ass kicking, and you need to stay in control of yourself and control of where you are. And, a lot of my ability to be a good cop and soldier came from a lot of butt kickings I took in college from my college instructors and stuff. I just didn't panic. So we talk to folks a lot of times, especially in our Filipino martial arts class, when we're doing knife stuff. We're like, hey, look, you haven't reached a level of force where you can stab this person. So you might want to think about what you're going to do prior to that.
What are the ramifications?
Oh, sorry.
What are the ramifications of sticking or cutting somebody with a knife when you don't need it? That happens a lot.
So
a lot of people think it's cool. It's cool. I carry a blade, and they draw their blade. I had some friends from the past that would always carry blades because they're all collie guys, and at the drop of a hat, their blade was out, and they're doing downward figure eights, and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Asking for trouble.
Yeah, I go. You guys are gonna.
I learned a horrible lesson demonstrating knife grappling about 2 months ago. We have a kid here that is stronger than any man I have ever. He's great, just lean, long, but just strong. And we're rolling, and I went to do some knife work on the ground. We were doing knife work on the ground, and I went to draw my knife. He literally grabbed my hand and just took the knife right out of my hand. And I was like, whoa. Of course, I had to react and deal with the fact that he now had my knife. But people were like, how did that happen? I was like, literally, he was strong enough to grab my hand like I was a child and take the knife out of my hand. And my students were like, that was a great reaction that you had to him. But I was like, I have never had a grown man just take something from me like that. Wow. And I had to rethink when I apply a knife, where I work the knife into things.
It's funny.
Scary.
I trained the LA airport police, and they wanted all this grappling stuff, and everything was cool, and it was extractions, how to get people out of seats. And they go, I heard that Sifu Larry Hartzell's really good at extractions. I go, are you sure you want me to bring him in? And they go, yeah. So that, man, he was grabbing people's ears and just handful of their hair and just ripping them out of their chairs. And it was funny, but all this tactical and technical stuff that they're learning, as soon as you throw a red gun in the mix, he's got a gun. Boom, everything goes out the door, and everything is a dash to get your hands on that weapon, because you're going to get shot.
And that's the thing that we try to stress to people. If this reaction of, I'm in some sort of self-defense situation, so I'm just going to pull out my knife or my gun as the solution. And I'm like, that's not always how that works. You can't just shoot somebody who's walking at you aggressively. You will get charged for that. And so we really try to stress to our students, hey, make sure you're making wise decisions. Make sure that if we're using lethal force, that we're justified to be doing that and not just doing something because it's cool or you like it or you know how to do it. It's super, super important.
Well, Sorry, Eric. Do you find that there's a, I'm sure Alan can address this too. There is an element of, if you've trained enough, the fear doesn't kick in as fast. Because you see that fear reaction, you see that panic happening. I mean, you look at it enough, and it's
the gun draw. That's the.
If you're going right to that level right out of the gate, it's like you haven't trained enough. Like
yeah, it's definitely true with a lot of the officers. I've sat on so many use of force review board panels and different things with police officers, and I can specifically watch because I know most of the officers that I'm watching, and I know the ones that are not training or not doing things, which unfortunately is a vast majority of them. And you can see the panic response and the fear kick in so much faster, even from the moment they arrive on scene. You can watch that whole video of how they're not realizing or keeping up with what's going on because of fear. I watched one recently without getting too much into it, but he was in a lethal force situation and could not get himself out of a loop of thinking to even realize it. He's lucky he's alive. So it goes both ways, both people to escalate too quickly and then people to not realize it because
the shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the freeze.
The cameras that the officers in the area wear are wonderful because as grappling coaches, you see it all the time. You see somebody grappling and they're all shaking and you're like, dude, you're a white belt. I don't care what you tell me. You're a white belt. You're not smooth. You're not. And you can see it on the police camera. When people arrive, you'll see the older cops who are used to dealing with people, and their camera is just as smooth as it can be. They're not shaky. They're not nervous. And then you'll see the rookie that was right beside him, and the camera's just shaking. And you're like, man, that guy's way through the ceiling already. He's already getting out of the car scared. So we try to really work with, we have a lot of police officers who come through and train. We run a really good discount for our cops, especially the ones we know when they come in. Our judo instructor is one of the local regional academy DT instructors. He runs the DT program. She ran our old police department's DT program. So defensive tactics. Defensive tactics.
Do you do DT work, you guys?
Yes, when I was at the police department, I was there for 7 years, and I was running the defensive tactics program there. And so we still have quite a few officers that come in and train with us and work with us. We try to help them out as much as we can. But
listen, that's just as important. Like a lot of people go, oh, I only train fighters. Like, well, wait, a police officer in the military, they're a fighter, and they're out using lethal force every single day of their lives.
You know what, Sensei, though? If somebody comes in and they're doing Muay Thai, striking portion, they're doing grappling, they're doing the judo, and they're doing what we require for the curriculum, all we need to do is tell them when to use it in the line of force. But the techniques are always just the same old stuff. And when people get better and better and better, they end up doing more jiu-jitsu, more judo, more Japanese jiu-jitsu. We're sitting there telling them, hey, look, this is just good catch wrestling. Just follow that arm. This is just good catch wrestling. People ask me all the time, hey, what did you use the most when you were a police officer? I was like, judo and catch wrestling. I was like, because I could get my hands up and get close, and I just needed to get them to the ground and then track that Kimura. Follow the Kimura wherever it went and get that guy under control.
Kind of MMA, right?
Yeah.
Not all the striking.
Without the striking, yeah.
All we find is the difference between our MMA guys and our defensive tactics guys is that the MMA guy has to bridge that gap between another person. They have to figure out how to get safely in connection to the other person. Yeah. Whereas when we're dealing with criminals, they're moving toward us anyway, right? Now we have to just figure out how to bridge that gap safely with them moving toward us, and that's about the difference. Once that body connection is made, either your wrestling's good or your wrestling's not good.
Yeah.
Kat, are you still active?
No, I have actually just moved on, so I'm super excited about it.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
So now you're an official full-time martial artist.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's been
Yay,
Awesome.
congratulations.
Oh, we're excited. You don't know how many customers this woman brings in. People come in and they're just like, can we work with her? And we're like, yes. Yeah. Our numbers were jumping. This virus is killing my wife because our numbers were just jumping because people were coming in and just wanted to work with her. And people were like, hey, I was like, we have so many women who come in and they're like, hey, how do you train women? I'm like, I don't train women. I've got tons of strong female coaches here. They will train you. Why learn from me when you can learn from this strong woman?
That's cool.
And then her apprentice, or what would you call Sierra? Sierra, she has a young girl that's been working with us for about a year, and she's tough as nails. Just a normal civilian, came in, started training with Kat. She lifts weights with Kat. She's strong. She's grown so strong. Her grappling.
That's wonderful.
She fights the men. She throws hands with the men, and she's just a community planner. She works in the community helping impoverished communities. But she's strong as the dickens, like mentally and physically strong. So my women's programs are just blowing up, and my self-defense programs and fitness programs, because she's a fitness trainer. So people come in, and she's the best thing for my business in years.
All right.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Wow, what an endorsement.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Do you think it's a haircut that helps?
Yeah, baby.
You be you, Kat. That's awesome.
Say, you'll love it. She got Officer of the Year last year. So she got Officer of the Year twice. She hates when I tell these stories. She got Officer of the Year twice. She got it again last year. And one of the city council women is coming out to congratulate her, and one of her assistants is like, "Girl, you are so strong. Look at you." She's standing there in her suit with her gun on, and her heels, and her haircut, and she's standing up there, and she's just strong. And all the women in the room are like, "What in the heck?" And I'm sitting there telling her, I was like, people know strong when they see strong. It drives her nuts. It makes her so embarrassed. It makes her so embarrassed.
It's good to be humble.
I love
It makes her so embarrassed, but it just.
Congratulations. That's a great,
Yeah, what a great
a
accomplishment.
great way to leave also.
Yeah, that's cool.
Leave on a high note.
You left on a real high note. Now when you go back in, you have to ask for a major raise.
And the red carpet.
Rashad, you're like, she's not going
Rashad's
back
like, you're
yet.
not leaving me.
I'll get her own school before I let her go back to anything else. I told her already. She's being all slow. I'm like, I'm already collecting mats and everything. I'm like, I can't wait to open up another school. I was like, I'll put you. She'll probably make a better school than I could.
Well, Kat, are you?
Everything.
Kat, so you're completely out of the police force.
Yeah, my last day is officially in 2 weeks, but I'm not there. I'm on leave, so my last day will be in 2 weeks, and I'm done.
Oh, very good.
Well,
Good for
thank
you.
you for all your years
Yeah.
of service. Thank you.
I know we talked about that last time, though. That's good.
That's really important. You know, that's a very big responsibility.
It has been, and it's been really, really good for me for 7 years to really get that experience and get in real fights and get in, situations where you're actually having to realize that you might die. I think it gives me a different level of ability to talk to people when they're talking about self-defense or that type of thing. And I don't regret my time there for sure. So.
Wow.
Yeah, you were on the job. Well, out of that, do you know anybody who has the COVID now? Do you guys, personally, because they're interacting with the public and.
Yeah, there is. I know there's at least one officer that's had an exposure on the local PD. Seems to be recovering just fine, and they're kind of monitoring the people that person was around. So we're just, at this point, that's the only one in the department that I know of. So we're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, just like so much of the country is.
So the weird thing is, everyone that may be exposed, nobody really, they're not testing anybody.
That's the problem.
So we don't even know if we have it or not. We don't know if we have it.
Well,
if you're young and strong, you're walking around healthy, giving it to everybody else. So
they were talking this morning about that, and they're, because of once they figure out, the testing, you'll get a spike because they're finding out, not necessarily because more people are getting it, but people are getting it. But they were also saying that your true numbers will come in when you find out all the people, whenever they figure out a test to find out who had it and they just had it and got rid of it, and then they have the antibodies now. Those are the people that's when this thing will unfreeze and you can just go back to work because you already had it. I don't know, but that's the latest thing that I heard about it. And once we figure that out, I don't know. They're just ramping everything up all at once right now. But it's crazy. But until then, it's lockdown time.
Ugh, I just want to go back to yelling at people.
Yeah.
You stopped? Wait a minute.
Well, you two.
When did that stop?
It's fun. It's not a great thing, but dang, if people don't realize now how interconnected we are.
Yeah.
Right? There's no way, no one can ever say again, oh, what happens in China doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
Oh, what happens in New York doesn't affect us. No one can ever try to claim that we're on this big spaceship and that the air is somehow not the same here as it is somewhere else. And so whenever I talk to people now, and I love all the people who are like, oh, we don't like social programs. And I'm like, hey, man, I need some help. You know, I see a lot of people who need some help right now. And just seeing the people who are doing positive things, I'm like, I'm hope people realize we're riding around on the same spaceship, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Got to help each other out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, we got to stick together during it too.
Rashad, is it circular, or is it oblong, pear-shaped, or is it?
Oh no.
We're gonna have the planet debate.
Is it
Sensei.
I'm gonna
Is it a-
put these
No,
again.
she's gonna get upset right now because my perception is only what the aliens are letting me perceive. Sensei, next time I see you, we'll talk about the aliens and everything else with you because they keep giving me crap about my belief in the aliens, and I personally believe that this disease is weakening us so the aliens can take a swat at us here in a couple months.
Oh no!
I told my wife that this morning. Hey, look, I got my gun and I got my daggone ammo, and I am a prepper. I'm a prepper because people are like, well, what about the zombie apocalypse? I'm like, I'm worried about the aliens coming. And if people tell me they're not coming, then I tell my students all the time,
Here.
the first alien ship shows up, I'm going to be like, I told you all.
I think half of us are aliens anyways. Hey,
Oh God.
especially Bob, because Bob works these hours and he never gets tired.
And
so,
he looks the same, so we think something's up.
So hold on, I want to say something real quick. 5G.
Oh no, not that one.
Oh, come on.
No.
What do you think about the 5G? If that's affecting,
I think 5G is going to be awesome when they roll it out.
well, because we look.
Oh.
I haven't done the studies, Bob.
If you look at the ramifications of what the 5G is doing a little bit to people.
Fast internet.
I just thought, yeah, fast.
That's all Bob cares about.
Yep.
There was a guy that was a cell tower. He was installing all that, and he actually made a video. And he said that he was installing this stuff, and it was completely destroying him. And he hadn't been able to go to work for a week because he was nauseous and sick to his stomach. And he was stating because of the fact that he was putting the 5G towers up, it was affecting him. So I'm just asking. I didn't say anything. I'm just asking what your thoughts are. If that has anything to do with.
And if it's
the
connected with
weakening.
alien technology.
I don't care about. I don't care about that. I'm just asking what do you guys think about it?
Well, I think if there's some evidence that I mean, there could be something to cellular signals. They've got some evidence for something like that. There could be issues with that. But as far as 5G, I think 5G is going to be awesome. It's going to be. I can't wait for 5G. It's going to be internet everywhere. It's going to be great, and it's going to be super fast. You know how fast I'm going to be able to upload videos?
If you
You
just put the tinfoil in the right place, you'll be fine.
That's right.
Here.
It does make things more interesting.
Oh Lord.
No, it's all good. It's good. I would think we should go back to the pear shape, the oblong or round debate. You got to listen to some Neil deGrasse Tyson. He can tell you about that.
Oh,
He said it's pear shaped.
Yeah, he says it's not
pear shaped.
Yep.
All I know is there's holes in both ends of the earth, and people.
Oh, I love it.
You could go in and out of both of them. I believe there is inner Earth stuff going on.
Rashad's so happy right now.
Laugh at that stuff.
Like on top of it.
Tanya's reaction is her dealing with me all the time. When I start going, and she's just going, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, really, listen. And she's just like,
Hey, I want to tell you, he has ancient aliens. We watched this whole thing the other day, and I was in there with him for on the couch for like 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure that I almost got convinced of all the things.
Oh, Eric knows all that stuff.
You know, there's a lot of scientific. They're bringing in a lot of scientists and astrophysicists and all these other people. It's not just a bunch of conspiracy ufologists. It's different people that are all coming in, chiming in, and talking.
Even the conspiracy about what's going on right now with the virus. I watched a whole
this
thing.
is definitely a conspiracy.
Oh no. You guys.
Hey, my dad said the same thing.
It's only because it makes her so angry. So angry.
She's hitting him on the leg.
Whenever she encounters people who come up with crazy stuff, she looks at me and I'm like, hey, people are people. They're going to come up with what they feel. And we were watching a Daily Show video yesterday, and Kat's like, do people really believe this? And I'm like, yes, they believe that. And
Oh, Kat, you can't react that way. Your head will explode.
You just got to let it happen. And eventually, you too will believe.
Just let the aliens in.
Look, we live on the peninsula where there is only one way out and one way in on this peninsula. You got to go up the highway, and all the roads that run beside the highway, and there is no way off of this peninsula. And
Thermopylae.
Go wrong.
So I'm thinking.
And so when we get hit with hurricanes, we're just stuck here together. and so I'm telling her all the time, I was like, you feel bad about my prepping until I get you off of this peninsula in my truck with my family.
Yeah, that's what Eric says to everybody too. They
you
all
feel bad about my prepping all you want.
Rashad puts on his cape and goes, Spartans.
You give me 2 hours and I can get my family in the truck with water, electricity, food, and everything, gun, ammo, and moving off this
Are
peninsula.
you involved in that? Are you part of
Yes.
the whole show?
Huh?
Are you bringing Kat with you?
Yes.
Oh, she's not getting left behind. She family. She's family.
I love it.
She's part of the resistance.
Everybody looks at it and they're like, hey, you guys are isolating, and they're looking at us, and we isolate her. She's the only person outside my family that I've seen in 2 weeks.
That's good.
And actually today she got upset with an old lady that she takes care of because she goes out into public, and Kat's like, I can't take the chance because we're so concerned about my kids and everything.
It's dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's 84, and I kind of adopted her several years ago.
I remember.
Family, and so I was like, I can't see you for a couple weeks, hon.
Yeah.
So it's hard for her to understand.
Yeah. They don't grasp like what the deal is, you know.
Yeah. Her response is, well, I've never really been sick, so I'm not gonna get sick. I'm like, sweetie, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
My father's still going out in public too. I haven't seen my dad.
You got to be
He was
careful.
like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I was like, okay, Pop. You know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Joe Rogan
that's the
was
way
talking
you
about
feel.
one of his friends who is, I think he said he's in his 30s or 40s, like a Marine, like super tough, in shape, not old at all, and it wrecked him.
Well, New York City just had a 34-year-old principal die from COVID. So
we don't know yet. Like, we're still learning. We don't have all the data yet. Like, this is a weird one.
This virus got my grandma into this huge health kick. Same thing, Kat, that you're dealing with. She's older, and she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go out. I'm just gonna walk a little bit. So she walked a mile the first day. Second day, she walked 2 miles, and I was like, you know, maybe you shouldn't be walking so much. Third day, she walked 3 miles, and to this day, we still can't find her.
That's not funny.
No, we still can't find her.
You know, Eric, I was listening.
Wait a minute, isn't his grandmother dead?
Well, I was listening, and then I saw Tanya's face behind you. I'm like, there's something up here.
Yeah, am I wrong? Am I wrong about the family tree? Did she die a while ago?
She got huge health.
Her sister is a doctor, and she sent us a video on it a couple weeks ago. And one thing we didn't know is it's affecting 40-year-olds because in America, some 40-some percent of 40 and above are obese. And I was like, 40-year-olds are that obese? Half of the population, 40 and above, are obese. And they were saying that obesity will cause you to have complications. I was like,
All right.
Yeah, 53% of Americans are, so it's over half.
Do you want to know why
Obese.
half of America is obese? Just watch TV for about 3 hours.
All the fast food.
Everything
channel.
is food, 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 food. I wonder why. Like I'm watching TV at night, late at night. I'm watching a movie or something, and
I'm hungry.
and all of a sudden I'm like, why am I hungry? It's because all the commercials are so suggestive, and there's so many good.
So
lot
what
of
you're
good
saying
foods.
is,
It's suggestive.
They should call it the COVID-15 because everybody's already put on 15 pounds being locked down.
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, you guys should see her group for her fitness group, our 5 Crow fitness group. She's running and working those people like they're preparing for a marathon or something. She was wearing those kids out. They send pictures of themselves. She usually gets pictures of people flipping her off and angry with her.
Oh, awesome.
Don't do the exercises, guys. Don't do it.
You had me. I'm okay with it.
So you're doing.
I'm like, do you really want these people to do that much? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, they can keep that. I'm not doing that.
So they're thinking to themselves, wait, is there going to be a gas shortage? Am I going to have to be running this far?
Maybe.
We do have a sprint, so they need to be very dangerous over short distances. It'll be fine.
You know, everyone's like, oh, this is so bad. Everything,
wait,
everything
what?
is so, they're saying everything is so bad. Wait a second. You have running water. You have electricity. Your cell phone works. So
all the things. All you
you
got
have
to do
food.
is ask to stay home.
Rashad, was it something I said?
It was.
And go to the
It
bathroom.
was. No, he had a phone call.
My wife just called. She's on her way with the kids.
Okay.
We were talking about it yesterday, and somebody was like, oh, this is really bad. I'm like, no one's shooting at me. It's not 120 degrees. I'm not starving. I haven't been blown up in years. I was like, you give me this in the desert any day. If you ask me to go months in the house with my family or to go back to that desert, I'll stay right here in civilization.
Yeah.
No,
No,
this
yeah.
is not bad at all. I mean, it happens to
Perspective.
me. Huh?
You know, that puts it in perspective for people.
Yeah.
Because they think they're so used to being connected to everything. Just this little bit of time is.
I wouldn't even get back in the police car and work a night on patrol to get out of this. One night on patrol is stressful enough. This is nothing. We'll survive this. And I got good company. She may not survive it. She might be crazy afterwards.
Wait till you start watching the Ancient Aliens.
Oh, no.
I already know about it. I already know about
I asked every
it.
time I see her.
It's on
Don't
Fridays.
hurt me.
All Friday. It's on Saturdays too. Fridays and Saturdays.
Hey, what
My
about
dad already watches it. My dad talks to me about it all the time.
Wait, Project Blue Book. Have you seen it?
What's that?
Project Blue Book?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's on Tuesday night after Oak Island.
What is that?
Show.
Why are you making this face? What is it?
It's on the History
Oh.
Channel.
I'm just telling you something you're gonna
I don't
love
even
and
know what
you're
Oak
gonna think
Island
you
is.
You don't know the Curse of Oak Island
No.
TV show? Oh, it's really good.
Oh my gosh.
Between her making me watch stand-up comedians all the time and my wife watching rom-coms, I'll watch anything to get away from that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I'm with you on the rom-coms.
She got me back into watching Breaking Bad last
I
night.
love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was
I'm
awesome.
on season 2, and I'm like, this guy's slipping into oblivion.
Have you never seen it, Rashad?
No.
It is so good all the way through, and it ends awesome.
Yes, exactly.
They did it right.
Breaking Bad, so I had to look at
What
that.
is rom-com?
Romantic comedy.
Oh,
Matthew McConaughey stuff.
we don't get to watch much of that in this house.
I like him in some stuff, but not I'm not big on the rom-coms either.
He's great. I like him.
Yeah, he's an awesome actor. The rom-com stuff I'm not real big into though.
At first, I was always like, oh, we gotta watch Ancient Aliens again. And now I'm like, wait, we gotta get ready for a show.
Because there's little tidbits of information that you can actually research, like the string theory.
And then I get
There's
mad if
different
he
things.
changes the channel.
I would rather see a Netflix series on 20 years after they've been married, right? That couple when they've been married for
Oh,
20
yeah.
years, right? That's the one I want to see.
That's just YouTube.
That's real. Dude, that's right. Oh my gosh.
There's some funny ones coming out like during this thing. I mean, Eric's sending me stuff all the time, but just look on Facebook. People are going nuts already. Like just.
And really, it's only been like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Truly.
It's amazing how fast like people are going nuts. Just it's all you have to do is stay in your house. Why are you going crazy?
People are spoiled.
I just want to point out that Alan is in a rocking chair.
I'm jealous. I wish I was in a rocking chair. He's kicked back. Now, if he had a glass of wine or a beer, it would be perfect.
I bet
He's all the background and going, where is he?
Tea or coffee?
That's coffee.
Coffee till 4 and then beer after 4.
That's the way to do it.
That's not so bad.
Stay hydrated.
That's right. Get all amped up and then get drunk.
I literally have a couple friends. They drink coffee all morning long till about 5 or 6, and then they drink beer the rest of the night.
Other than the beer, that's me.
The beer is trying to get them to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I could drink 2 pots of coffee and go to bed.
Like Ritalin.
Yeah. I could go right to sleep. Eric got mad at me because he came in the room one night. This is about a while ago, and I had coffee sitting on the side table, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I can literally drink coffee, and it puts me out. I go right to sleep."
Yep. It's crazy.
Weird. I don't know. But
If you give me a cup of coffee, you're gonna have to pull me off the ceiling. I can't drink coffee at all.
Yeah.
I get the jitters.
Really?
I start talking a lot. Not a lot.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've had coffee today?
No. Yeah. In the Army, they give me a cup of coffee when we're out in the cold because they didn't have anything. Like, that's the only way to get something warm. And my driver in my tank, he'd just be like, "Shut up, Sergeant." I'm like, "I can't go to sleep. I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy." He's like, he was following me to meetings to keep me from having coffee. He was just like, "You cannot have coffee." My wife drinks coffee all day. She'll fall right to sleep.
Me too.
1 cup of coffee, my skin falls off.
I wish it would do that for me. Yeah, I'm just like, it's like water to me.
Now, sweet tea on the other hand.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Alan probably feels me. He's a good Southern boy. He's down there in Georgia.
I love sweet tea.
When I'm not drinking coffee.
Alan will get a coffee and get a double espresso in the coffee.
What?
I've been there for that. Do you do that, Eric?
It's so much so that I know what it's called at Starbucks.
I saw Eric do something amazing once with coffee. We were in a hurry. It was before one of the camps or something we were doing, and so we go in, and Eric gets this big coffee, and he's like, "Okay, watch this." He puts a couple ice cubes in, but that thing still had like steam coming off of it. I watched him literally and like not even take a breath and just chug it.
I chug it, and then all of a sudden my heart stops, and then it goes, and then it goes ta-tunk, 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 and I'm ready.
I don't know how he did it.
I almost died from it, but it's really
I saw it. I saw it personally. He was like, "Wow, how do you do that, man? My face would fall off."
I have to tell you guys a secret. If you ever host a seminar, always give the host Red Bull or
not
something.
The host, give the person teaching.
Not the host, but the actual person teaching. Give them Red Bull or give them Monster or give them something or give them a chai latte with double espresso.
A double shot in it. Guru likes that.
Don't do that to Guru if you want to follow him. And Guru will go like light speed if you give him that. It was crazy.
So good, Tanya. Eric goes, add a double shot to it. And I'm like, oh no.
It works because it helps extract more information out of people because they don't stop. They just go.
We went down to Ed Stahl School and met Sifu Beliki.
Yeah.
Ron Balicki.
Yeah, I was like, holy smokes, can a man move? He was like, I'm 56, and he was just going. And we were like, and he was like, do this drill with me. I was like, I can't go as fast as you, Sifu. I was like, you're going too hard and too fast. That's amazing. And he's just going. He's like, did I lose you guys? I was like, you lost me like a half an hour ago, man. I was like, I'm just swinging sticks now.
He's got the Inosanto teaching method, which is so light speed. And what happens is you get so used to getting all this information so fast that you don't realize that all the people around you aren't used to that. So then when they teach, you're like, hold on a second. Let's bring it back from 6 to 3. Let's go three variations and just slow it down a little bit, because people have a hard time comprehending more than 3, I think.
I agree.
Sections of 3. Yeah.
Families of 3.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Guru about that, and he just wants to get the info out. And I've talked to Eric a lot about that too. It's like sometimes there's seminar teaching and then there's class teaching, and they're not the same thing.
Well, we actually scheduled him to come in this year in June, if that happens at all. Because I was like, I love getting this much information. I mean, he just hit us with so much. I was like, he's like, no, I just really want to make sure my students get enough information. I was like, oh, that happened the first day. We're way past that now.
So they're just downloading all the information to you.
He showed JKD stuff, and I've done JKD for 15 years, and from Guru's seminars, he showed JKD stuff, and I was like, what is that? I've never seen that before.
Oh, cool.
He was like, you've never seen this? I was like, no, I have no clue. He was like, how about this? How about this? How about this? And I was like, I think I need to train some more. That's what I think.
That means it was a good one.
Yeah. He was chugging along. He was trying to do a technique where he wanted one of his coaches to hit him in the chest. He's like, hit me in the chest so I can react properly. And they were like, no, Sifu. And he was like, no, hit me in the chest. And they were all touching him lightly. And they look at him and they're like, didn't you just have open heart surgery? He's like, oh, that was like 8 months ago. I'm good.
He did? I didn't know that. He had open heart surgery.
It was less than a year ago.
Got a big tumor removed.
Oh, wow.
But then he goes right back out to doing stunt work like a couple months later.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep a good man down.
I was like, you are one rough and tough guy.
Go ahead, Bob.
You used to train with him. What's that?
A hard man's good to find, a good man's hard to find.
Oh, what?
Wow, I didn't know that one.
Wait, what?
I love that.
A good man is hard to find, and a hard man is good to find.
Oh, well.
I got to get that shirt.
Kat, what do you think? What do you guys think about that?
It only took an hour and 20 minutes to get inappropriate.
She's on her best behavior right now. She's on her best behavior.
Oh, Kat, do you
I cannot
are
get
you
through a
bad?
class. Everything I'm like,
2 years as a special victims unit detective, you get a very, very warped sense of humor. I have to make a concerted effort to behave myself.
Okay, next time we're all together, we're gonna go drinking when it's socially acceptable to do it again.
Stories will come out.
she starts saying stuff in class, and I'm like, can I just teach? Can I just teach the class? And they're just going. Her and a couple other late women in my classes, I'm like, you guys are so inappropriate.
I love it.
I'm an infantry guy, and I feel embarrassed right now.
You fit right in with us.
That's hilarious.
With me talking too much and her telling inappropriate jokes, can you imagine how long our classes are?
Oh, yeah.
They're never a dull moment.
Yeah, so that makes it better.
And we always have that one student that gets the joke like at least 5 minutes later, so then it stops the class again when he finally catches up.
That's a grenade. That's a joke.
You guys
grenade.
remember the Muppet Show with the 2 old white guys sitting up in the balcony just heckling the Muppets? That's them. They just heckle me through the whole class. I'm just like, come on, leave me alone. And they're like, what'd you just say? What'd you just say? And I'm like, what did I say? And they're like, you don't remember? I'm like, they're all just like, get off the stage, you suck. Get somebody else up there. Like,
oh man, I got to come down for a class. It sounds rough down there.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
we had Mikey come in to teach class. He came in to do a seminar. He's done a couple seminars, but the first time he came in, him and Chris Regden and all of them came down, and we were all hanging out, and we started having the seminar. There was about 15, 20 people in the seminar. And about 15, 20 minutes in, my students just start getting crazy. And Chris Regden looks at me and goes, something's wrong with your students, man. Y'all are some harsh people. What is wrong with y'all?
Right?
I was like, they're actually on their good behavior right now. And Mikey was like, I have never seen students behave like that. I was like,
What were they doing?
I'll be right back.
sex jokes and teasing and questioning other people's intelligence level.
Usually none of that bothers Regs at all. I'm surprised.
I think they were just surprised at how bad it got. Like just nobody, because my students, they'll beat me up too, and so my students are like, they're just constantly making fun of me, and so they're just like, do you get any peace? I'm like, not really. I was like, if you don't have a thick skin, you cannot teach here. I was like, plain and simple. You gotta be thick-skinned to teach here.
I've never seen Mikey on bad behavior either. He's always
He
been-
wasn't. Oh, he was doing his so best to be professional. It was amazing watching poor Mike suffer.
Yeah.
His wife will kick his butt if he steps out
That's
of line.
right.
I saw him step out of line once at Pat's, and she looked at him, and all of a sudden he straightened up. I go,
There it
Wow.
is.
wow, you're lucky to have her. She's keeping you in line.
The only bad behavior I ever saw on Mikey is in the second round of my tie test. He held for me, beat the crap out of me. He was pretty good at it.
I have to say something about Mikey. So I did a tie camp at Bill Gebhardt's, God rest his soul.
Oh, yeah.
And Len Sonia and all these different people. I believe Ryan might have been there. Regs, all these guys were there. And I was saying, someone asked me, they said, how do you train for one of your fights? And I go, well, I always, every day, I throw 1,000 right hands or 1,000 right knees or 1,000 right kicks. I make sure I throw 1,000 of something every day, because I know when I'm going to fight, I know what I'm going to use, the thing that I've trained so much for. And so a lot of times when I used to fight, my right hand would just start shaking because it was getting ready to fire. And then most of the time when I spar, I never throw a right hand because a lot of times it hurts people. So I always would use more of my front hand, my jab, my back fist, my hook, my uppercut. And so anyways, I said this 1,000 repetition idea, and Mikey goes, wow, that's a good idea. So I go to Pat's. And I go, hey, Mikey, are you doing the seminar? He goes, no, I can't train. He goes, I'm so sore, I can't even walk. He goes, how did you do it? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I threw 1,000 jabs, 1,000 crosses, 1,000 right kicks, 1,000 left kicks, 1,000 knees, and 1,000 double legs. And I go, in one day? And he goes, yeah. I go, no, it's one thing 1,000 times.
Sounds like Mike.
Right? Yeah. He did everything 1,000 times. He did left and right, punching and kicking, and kneeing and shooting 1,000 times.
In a hospital.
That's his work ethic. That's his work ethic. There's work to be done, and Mikey's like, I'm just gonna do the work.
I was amazed. For me, I was in shock, and I was surprised, and I clapped. I was like, that's amazing.
What do you want?
But you missed the point. You missed the fine words in the contract that just stated one thing 1,000 times.
I have sparred Mikey tons of times, and I still don't think I've ever hit him. I usually have to just chase him down in the corner and hold him still. And I'm just like, I tell him all the time, when I get my hands on you, I'm gonna kill you, little man. He just hit me in the face, and I'm like, when I catch you, it's gonna be on. I was like, we need a phone booth. That's the way I want to spar that boy. A phone booth.
Clinching with Mikey.
That's funny.
I don't think he got to fight as much as he should have.
Yeah.
Same with Rick Tavares. Rick didn't get to fight as much as he should have.
Yeah.
What a monster. Rick Tavares.
We're not allowed to tell Rick Tavares stories because I'm still having nightmares about the last time he beat me up. So, yeah. He yawned the last time I was rolling with him. He yawned. I said, Rick, am I boring you? He said, actually. I was like, I know I'm not that good, but damn, dude.
Rick's really
I'm sorry if I'm boring. He submitted me like 6 times in 1 minute with the same thing. And I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Could you do that again? He's like, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Pat used to call him the equalizer.
That's the truth.
Yeah. I filmed back in 2000, I think it was. I think that it was 2000 or 2001. It's on the video. Eric it was supposed to, everybody was just going, around and switching and all that. He rolled for about 20 minutes with Rick. It's one of my favorite
Same
things.
weight. We were the same weight back then.
Yep. They were going at it. And
about
Rick,
176 pounds.
yeah, you were, that was like
My
not far
first
out
fight.
of fighting.
I had to drop down from 185 to 176.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good.
And I looked at Rick and I go, hey, how are we the same size? Because we were the same size.
Hold on, aren't you like 6'2"?
I'm 6'5",
No.
240.
You got down to 176.
Yeah, 176.
Eric is really thin back then.
Oh my gosh.
Like he wasn't eating anything.
Skeletor. Oh, and angry all the time.
Someone said after I retired, they go, hey, what did you learn after you fought? And I go, I learned that food tastes good. And they go, what
I'll
is
be
that?
right back, guys.
They said, what does that mean? I go, I never ate. I mean, everyone talks about their diet now. I was like, my diet was no food. I just said, I'm not going to eat anything.
You're 160.
I'm not 160.
Oh, you're not supposed to do that on camera to a woman.
You're 160.
How do you think that?
Oh man.
I don't think he heard you, Bob.
He just messed up, Rashad.
No. Hey, look. Have you ever seen her deadlift,
Nope.
bench press, or squat? I started lifting weights last year because we were in the gym, and we have a strength coach. She's one of our strength coaches, but I really didn't lift weights. I was like, I'm just gonna roll. I roll. That's how I stayed in shape. Roll jujitsu, spar some Muay Thai. I didn't feel no need to lift weights. I'm already a big boy anyway. I'm reasonably strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the gym lifting weights with her, and she's trying to teach me something, and she's picking up the bar that I'm using like it ain't nothing. And I'm sitting there looking at her, and I'm like, she's like, oh, this is just a warm-up weight for me. I'm like, holy cow.
That's the left side of my head. The right side is my woman, and the left side is my masculine side.
Oh man, you guys.
Clean. Right?
But
So you got to roll with Tanya, Kat, because you want to talk about some grippers.
Yes, it's amazing.
Tanya, get a hold of you.
She has man hands.
Where is she? She's got to hear this.
Oh, I'm sure we fell
No, she does. She has man hands.
She does. So she picked me up from the airport once, and I had all my camera gear and everything, and I had these big suitcases.
Don't worry, I'll get it.
That's exactly what she did. She goes, stand aside. She just picks them up like it was. I'm like, those are really heavy. Hey, Tanya, we're talking about your man hands. Hey, we literally did this once. We held, because I have tiny hands. We held them up. I'm like, Tanya, your hands are bigger than mine. I'm horrified. I was telling Kat that she has to roll with you, Tanya, because
No, she'll kill me.
I don't know. You got some farmer strength going on there.
Farmer's strength.
I was telling them when you picked my bags up that time you picked me up, and you're just like, I had all my camera stuff in there, and you're just like, whatever. I'm like, really?
Are you
Seriously?
saying she's getting old woman strength?
Hey!
No, we never crossed that
Mind
line.
your manners.
We never crossed that line.
Well, you got old man strength.
Hey.
You can say that to me, but you can't say that to Tanya. No, we know better. We know better. We don't cross the line.
One of our guys at the
You
school.
really, Tanya, does this bother you? Because it'll bother her when I tell her she's dainty and pristine and teeny. Oh man, I'm like, but you're so scrawny. Oh, call her scrawny. Oh, her best friends are a captain. She left the Marine Corps. She's a Marine captain, and now she's an Army captain. And the girl is amazing.
Wait, she went from the Marines to the Army?
Yeah, better career choice. Yeah.
Did you get in trouble for that?
Huh?
Don't you catch shit for that?
No, because the Army guys, yeah. Army loves when Marines come over. Loves it.
Good.
Because you have better career choices and they're more disciplined. You don't have to worry about their discipline and stuff. But when you messing with the both of them, I'm like, you guys are so scrawny. You're so teeny. And they're just like, I'll see you in the gym.
Don't
Her
forget.
buddy went neon. The girl went neon on my chest and popped my back out. And I did not sleep for a month because she hurt me so bad. And she was just like, old school neon where they grab your gi and they pull and pull.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, honey, the next time she came to roll, I was like, look, you got to take it down a little bit. can't have you hurting me like that. I'm getting old.
What the hell's going on in Virginia?
The women are rising.
Well, if you got that many
That's your conspiracy
police and
worldwide.
military, if you have that much police and military, I think that you're dealing with a lot of probably alpha individuals, right?
Yeah.
Very much so.
Good to go.
The young lady Sierra who teaches our basic self-defense class on Monday and teaches our kids classes. She's in our basic self-defense class and she just hit deadlifting twice her body weight,
Wow.
bench pressing her body weight, and then squatting her body weight 1.5 times. And so she's teaching class and she's like, you guys got to get stronger. She's like, you guys are not strong. She's like really grinding on.
130.
130.
Yeah,
How many pull-ups and dips can she do?
she can do quite a few pull-ups.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, she's strong. So she looks at everybody and she's like, you guys got to get bench pressing and squatting. Your bench press is probably terrible. It's not like mine because mine is awesome, but y'all's is probably terrible. And I was like, you can't just say that to the students. And she's just like, you guys are a bunch of weak sissies. And I'm like, okay.
I have to tell you something funny. So we were I was teaching the kids class. I was helping teach kids class, and we had them all circled up, and we were doing muscle strengthening things. And they're little. They're like 3 to 5 year olds. So we're like, okay, what does this build up? And we're trying to show them what body part. And then we had them on their backs doing ab crunches. And I said, we got to start doing some stuff to get your abs better. And you guys start crunching. And one of the little kids, he's doing it like this. He goes, Miss Tanya, what are abs? And then I go, count to 5. And he goes, I don't know how. He's just 3.
They're so cute.
They are so cute.
It's so funny. Like,
I don't know what abs are.
people say, oh yeah, don't train kids that are under 5. But you
so
watch
cute.
These little kids come in and they're so cute.
And then they blossom. And then
until there's a big
so
turd
cute.
laying on the ground that fell through their
Only
pants.
once. Only the one time.
Yeah.
No.
Only that one time.
We have a kid. He started out with us when he's 4. He's a world champion now. He's 12.
Wow.
Wow.
He wins all the worlds and all that stuff. But he's 12, and sometimes when I'm rolling with him, because I teach him privately, and sometimes when I'm rolling with him, I keep talking crap that I'm telling him when he turns 13, I'm gonna kick his butt. But I'm scared he might kick my butt. He's got more years on the mat than I do.
That's awesome.
Have you seen that video on YouTube of the? It was I guess he's probably a teenager, and his dad's talking all this trash to him. He's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, kid, and he's like showing him how to box and all that, and the kid just almost knocks him out.
No.
He just knocks it, and then the guy's chasing him around the house with his chair. It's hilarious because the dad's talking all this trash, and he's gonna kick the kid's ass, and he's like, come on, hit me. And the kid's like, and just drops him.
I saw that.
I love that one.
That was staged.
I look real.
My 4-year-old and 3-year-old hit double legs on each other. And I'm like watching, and my son's like, Daddy, single leg. And he'll snatch my leg, and I'm like, hold on. And then he's trying to run the pipe on me, and I'm like, aren't you only 4? And I'm like, but
That's awesome.
My wife and my kids coaches do such a good job with the kids that when they hit you with a double leg, you've been hit with a double leg, you go down. So
we asked Greg Nelson the other day if Gunner can take him yet, and Greg goes, hell no.
Oh, yeah. He's not having it. Yeah, he put Gunner right back in his place. He's not having it.
Greg, did you see the video Greg put up yesterday when he was doing Taxi Driver with a roll of toilet paper?
Wait, I saw the toilet paper. Yeah, the toilet paper one.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
Who do we have here?
Kitty pie.
hey,
Uh-oh.
I'm Kingston.
Hi. Hi.
Say hi, Bubba.
Okay.
This is
She's. Oh.
She thinks
Social
that's how you
distancing.
get kids. You touch a kid, and then you get kids.
Yeah.
Do you get much sleep with 3 kids? No.
No, but I don't really need that much sleep. And we just take turns between my wife and I taking care of the kids during the night. So
Ken, are you allowed to watch the kids or?
Oh, I don't watch the kids.
she doesn't do kids. She doesn't do kids.
They're just fine. I will not be babysitting them.
I will not be babysitting.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I won't go anywhere near the little ones until they bounce. I'm afraid. It's like, yeah.
I didn't have my first kid until I was 38 years old. I waited.
Wow.
Actually, let me take that back. My wife waited until I was mature enough to try to be a dad.
I can tell, Rashad, that you are surrounded by strong women.
I love them. They're more responsible. They get more things done. If anybody says, "Hey, do you want a whole bunch of male coaches or a bunch of female coaches?" I want a bunch of strong women.
And they can watch
more
the
reliable.
door.
They work harder.
They watch
More
the door.
reliable,
Right?
work harder, stronger, smarter, faster. My young men, I have to watch them like a hawk. They will forget to eat. They'll forget to take baths. They'll forget to do. I'm like, guys, literally, my 20-year-old coaches, the female 20-year-olds, they can take care of anything. I don't let my school open unless there's a woman here to run the school.
Oh, dang.
I love
it.
Alan, you have that.
Yeah, Iris.
Yeah, his boss.
But Iris, yeah.
She's called the boss for a reason.
Iris is great.
Yeah.
She's really smart. She's great.
My wife runs the school. She runs all the front desk stuff. She runs the kids' class. And whenever she says that's what's going to happen, that's what happens. And her and Kat work things out and all the other coaches. And they'll ask me. I'm not such a good person to talk to people across the desk because I'll be like, "You're an idiot. Get out of my school."
I've never seen that side of you, Rashad. I've always seen the nice guy side.
You could ask Chris. I'm not allowed to respond to emails, make first phone calls.
Really?
People will be like, "I think Krav Maga is the most deadly martial art on the planet." I'm like, "You're an idiot. Get out of my school." And they're like, "Don't you teach Krav Maga?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. Get out of my school, man." It's like, holy smokes.
I wish we had discovered this at the beginning of the podcast. Look, you see Alan light up just now.
I think our first year we got to 30-some students, 40-some students, because I was running the front desk and I was getting in arguments with people. And they're like, "Well, what do I need to learn? I want to learn to fight. I need Krav Maga." I'm like, "Look, learn how to punch, learn how to grapple, learn how to wrestle, do those things." "Well, what martial art is that?" "Listen to me. Learn how to punch, learn how to wrestle, learn how to go grapple and submit people, and you'll be okay." And they're like, "I want Krav Maga. Get out of my school. Get out." So my wife took over, and now we have students. It's amazing.
That's funny.
I have to say, a lot of the people that are of military and police, they are taught Krav Maga. They're forced to go learn Krav Maga,
Yeah.
so that's why they're going to try to seek a school out that teaches that. And I know that because I know that I had a contract. I was trying to work with the LAPD, but it was some of the beach city police, and they said, "You know what? We're going to go train with the Krav Maga guy because he's going to teach us everything." And I was like, but all they're doing is teaching all the stuff that they've taken from all the arts that we do.
Crappy Muay Thai, crappy Jiu-Jitsu, crappy Judo, crappy Filipino martial arts.
MMA, Kali, Thai boxing, boxing.
We're being so good right now.
I think maybe we should. I'm
not talking bad.
Oh no, they can come after me. They can come after me.
I'm not talking bad. That's why Pat created the American Krav Maga system
and that, Sensei, that's what I was about to say. I was at a seminar. Sifu Trey was up in Maryland somewhere, and he was teaching Kali, Filipino martial arts. And somebody was like, "Well, how is this useful comparable to that useful?" And they just kept on with it. They wanted him to say what was the best martial art to learn so they could learn it quickly. And Sifu looks at the guy, and it was a moment of clarity for me. He goes, "All we're doing is learning the movement patterns of fighting. And you're just going to keep learning those movement patterns of fighting until they become instinctual to you. And then you'll be able to fight. That's all you're doing." And I was like, That is all I've ever been doing is learning these, and I see the patterns over and over again. But until Sifu said it out loud, I was just like, I was lost too. I was like, hey man, get him to say it. I'd like to know what his thoughts are. And Trey was just like, because you can see this pattern in JKD, you can see this pattern in Filipino martial arts. I can see the same pattern in Muay Thai. I see the same pattern, and I was like, huh, you are right, Sifu. And it was amazing. And now whenever the students come in, they're like, what martial art are we learning? I'm like, you're learning how to fight. That's it. We're going to make sure you learn the patterns of fighting, not the patterns of dancing, not the patterns of capoeira, or if they want to call it fighting, not all these other patterns. You know, if you see somebody do modern dance, you know they're doing modern dance. If you see somebody doing ballet, you know.
Don't squabble over the system and like, look at what you could do with it. Look at.
That's it.
You could sit and go, oh well, what are the origins of all this? Is this from this or this or this? You should give credit where credit's due.
Sure.
Don't steal it all and go, I created this. This is my thing. This is my Krav Maga. I created it.
That's when you piss everybody off.
Oh, okay. You've borrowed from all these different arts. Just state what they are.
Give credit where it came from.
Don't put an umbrella over everything and then not give credit to any of the other things with the years. It's the information age today. People kind of know what you're doing.
Well, and if you're testing it as well, like it's pretty easy to find out if it works.
Is it battle tested and combat ready?
That's right. That's it. I heard a guy say that once.
Is it battle ready?
Yeah. Are you testing it? Are you actually putting the stuff out there and seeing if you can make it work?
Easy on here.
Anyways, we when we talk, we're not trying to bag on anybody or anything.
No, not at all.
But the thing is, all I have to say is, like I said, if you're borrowing from, which we all do, borrow, but we give credit where credit's due. I always say when I'm showing something, even I have names for things, and I'll call it by the name of the person that I learned it from. So I'll call things like Master Higgin. This is a Higgin Machado. This is Paulo whoever. This is a Cyborg. And I always say this is a Mark Coleman choke, because that's where I learned it from. Give credit where credit's due.
We're about to put up a wall in the school while we're out. We're about to put up a school wall that has our teachers, and we're just going to put all the people that have ever contributed to our knowledge, so our students can start seeing just how many teachers it took to get where we are.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people don't know that. They don't know because they just see what they're showed and what's in front of them. Right, Alan? If you want to know heritage and history and lineage, just go in Alan's office. Look at his walls a little bit.
Hey, Alan, how long have you been running Atlanta martial arts? How long have you been teaching? Like
full time, probably since the early 90s.
Early 90s, right? Yeah, I was in high school. Thanks.
Alan is in his 50s. Just saying. 5-0.
And Alan's still younger than two of us that are on this call.
Ever since, because I'm on Atlanta's coach internal student page, and I see all the stuff. And whenever I see you working with a new instructor and becoming that instructor's student, and then working to get certification under another instructor, I'm like, hold on, this guy's been doing it almost as long as I've been on the planet, and he's still finding teachers, people to learn from, right? And so when I look at my students, I'm like, I'm just going to go find another teacher, because if all the people above me still feel the need to have teachers and go learn from other people, then that's probably what I need to do too.
Guru Dan still does that.
Never ends. That keeps you alive. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't learn something new on a regular basis.
Absolutely. 100%.
Or be reminded of something I already learned years ago.
You got to also focus on what you have in front of you, the knowledge that you have already, and you need to perfect that. Whoa,
what was that?
It's
beans, broccoli, baking soda, and beer.
Yeah, it's a little. One of the kids is out.
Oh, okay. Well, let's have our final thoughts. We've been on almost 2 hours.
Holy smoke.
I just want to say again,
Sorry, guys.
what I'm saying
That
again
talks so much.
is a lot of people, so they're given a ton of information. You have a lot of information already. Focus your energy also on perfecting what you have, getting really great at everything that you do, instead of every day looking for something new. What's new? Work the stuff that you got and get great at it. That's mastery of what you have. And I think that's very, very valuable.
Absolutely.
And then also, if you want to expand your mind, there's nothing wrong with looking at other stuff at all. That's great. But, if you aren't great at what you do already, put some time into that to perfect it, to the point where you could battle test it and it actually works under pressure for real. And then once that happens, throw a weapon in the mix and see how it works then, because you've got all this stuff, and the next thing you know, here comes a weapon. You're like, oh, wait a second. I just do MMA cage sparring all the time and sport jiu-jitsu. Hold on a second. What do I do with this knife?
Yeah.
Hey, we just put on our students in jiu-jitsu class, we got out the MMA gloves, and they were like, I was like, yay!
Half the guys are happy, and the other half were
not happy.
scared. They got scared because
Now it's MMA.
It was so much fun.
You start standing, you can grab the gi.
I love hitting people.
It's hockey. It turned into hockey.
Oh yeah.
Turned into hockey.
Don't mock me. I might have done that only a few times.
It's great. MMA gloves with the gi is pretty fun. I have to admit.
It was fun.
Because a lot of guys, they're so good at maybe sport jiu-jitsu, but as soon as you start getting punched in the face, you know what it does? Punching erases your memory.
Oh yeah.
It really does.
For a long time.
Punching when you're in somebody's guard, I always go like this. Tell me 5 things you're going to do to me while I'm in your guard. Ready, go. No.
Oh,
I said, please tell me. Tell me 5. Give me 3 to 5 things. So they try to tell me, and I go, okay, ready? Tell me those 5 things again as you're trying to do them, and then ready, go. And then I just start punching. I start punching, and I go, tell me those 5 things again. And they're like, oh, and then they suddenly, all these thoughts start disappearing. And I'm like, okay, now you're in oh shit land.
Yep.
You just went from having all these great ideas to getting punched in the eye a couple times, and I'm not even hitting hard, and you just forgot at least half, if not most of the things that you were telling me you're going to do to me. Because you get punched in the face.
Well, it doesn't leave you a place to hide, right? It makes you figure out exactly where you are in your game.
Right, Alan?
Sir.
It changes everything.
Keep rocking. We're almost done.
All right.
It's time for Alan to eat.
Yeah,
Thank
Alan's
you,
like,
guys.
I'm hungry.
I really appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you for your service.
Guys.
Kat, congratulations with your retirement, partial retirement.
Tanya, when you guys find out when you guys are coming to Trident, let us know so we got our students ready to come.
I'm working on the dates right now. I'll work on the dates with him later this afternoon and talk to Tina and figure out the time.
Excellent.
So thank you guys for coming on with us. And once again,
really appreciate it. Thanks for your service.
Make sure you get the word out. If you talk to any of the other affiliates, get the list to us so we can set them up with the online university. We want to support you guys.
Thank you.
Make sure everybody knows that.
It was refreshing talking to you guys because you guys have a different view.
Yeah.
And you guys got a lot of funny stories.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Hanging out.
Y'all be good. Be safe.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. God bless you. Thank you.
Stay safe and healthy, okay?
Bye, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.